Good morning, everyone. I'm back, and I know it's been a little while. I took the summer off to just kind of have a little break and to reset and to spend some time with my family. My son had the summer off too. He had two short camps, but really didn't have much going on, so I wanted to spend some time with him and Cameron, my roommate's son, and just with my animals. And so I'm back though, and I got some new ink. Yeah, from my good friend Erica. She's going to be at a new tattoo shop in Metairie coming up. So if you want that information, hit me up. But today's card of the day, we have the Chariot, represented here by Aries, the god of war, who is very much a god who is into the heat of the battle and the bloodthirstiness of the battle, as opposed to Athene, who is into the strategy and the cool strategy and the cool, learnings of war and the writings and the history and that kind of thing and the playing of the chess and all that. He was more into the bloodshed and the bloodthirst and the actual fighting the battle and the fighting of the war and the drawing of the swords and the bloodthirst and all of that. And he often rode into battle with his two squires, which were believed to be his sons, who were Deimos, which means fear, and Phobos, which means terror. And he was a great warrior. He was probably the greatest warrior. Maybe Heracles might have been a little greater, but they could have fought. They could have fought and had a great battle. It would have been a death battle to end all death battles. Um, but we see here he's pulled in opposite directions by two horses, and this is the aggression that he holds, the power that he holds is being pulled in two horses, just like how the high priestess had the black pillar and the white pillar. The chariot has the black horse and the white horse, meaning that his power that he holds within himself, can be pulled in two different directions, into lightness and into darkness. So it can be pulled for good and for bad. And it's him holding the reins that decides which is pulled in which direction and which is led into which direction. So he decides the fate of this the decisions that need to be made about which is pulled where, when, why, how, what, all that kind of thing. And it's interesting because it's the conflicting animal urges within ourselves, full of vitality yet unwilling to work in harmony. They must be handled with strength and firmness, yet not repressed or broken, or we lose the power and potency to survive and make our way in life. It's interesting because most of the gods and goddesses didn't like Ares because they found his brutish nature and his bloodthirsty nature to be distasteful. But Aphrodite was very much in love with Ares and obviously looked to him and compared him to her ill-begotten husband, the smith god Hephaestus, and saw something much brighter in Ares. And so they had a love affair, and Hephaestus caught them but didn't let them know. And he created a mesh that was so fine it couldn't be seen, but so strong that it couldn't be broken. And once they next laid together, he laid the mesh over them when they fell asleep, and then called all the gods and goddesses to come look upon their shame, and they couldn't get up because of the mesh, so they were just laying there naked under this mesh, and all the gods and goddesses were pointing and laughing and seeing them in their shame. But Aries didn't care. He wasn't embarrassed. He wasn't made a fool of. He continued his love affair with Aphrodite, and they eventually had a child together, and the child's name was Harmonia, because she was the harmony between the love goddess Aphrodite and the war god Ares, and she was the harmony between the two of them. So between their two coming together, they created harmony between them. I think that's very interesting. So it's very interesting, as her name suggests. She was a harmonious balancing of love and strife. Through the chariot, the fool learns the consequences of his actions like a man and faces anger and conflict, which he has invoked both inside and outside of himself. Like the fool, we men and women both must learn to struggle with the warring opposites and warlike urges within ourselves if we are to survive in the jungle of life. Aries is always getting into trouble, either through angry quarrels with someone or the ruthless pursuit of a love object, but he survives all his humiliations and defeats and emerges stronger. Ultimately, he fathers a child who embodies the serenity which can be found at the end of a conflict that has been creatively handled. And the strife which Aries embodies is a necessary experience. Stop. Sorry. No matter how spiritually committed or selflessly loving we attempt to become, the aggressive drive within us do not die. They can be disowned and forced into unconscious, but they often reemerge as illness or as vitriol towards other people, as anger and deceit and meanness and just vitriol towards others, aggression towards others. And this is we unleash this aggression upon others, and it's not good. It's not happy. It's not a good way to live. It's not a good way to have our personality be. And the struggle of learning to contain and direct this fosters the development of the whole personality. So it's important to remember. When this card appears, it's the result of a stronger personality needing to be developed. It augurs conflict and a struggle which can result in this stronger personality. So you have a stronger personality coming to fruition, forming through this conflict, through this struggle. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a fact of nature. Struggle creates a stronger personality. And this conflict cannot be avoided. It must be faced with strength and containment. And you learn how to handle these contradictions and passes from the world of adolescence onto the next stage of the journey. So it's like a stage of rite of passage. So I hope this helps, and I hope y'all have a great day, and welcome back, or welcome me back, or whatever. Bye.